This is John here at the Bruce Thompson Courthouse here in downtown Reno. Right behind me now is a vigil for former United States Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who died yesterday at 87 from complications from pancreatic cancer. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of walk through the scene here a little bit and get you all queued up here. There we go. And there's my first personal image.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, here. Put this in your pocket. I did these at Burning Man.
Oh, so
it's Ruth Bader Ginsburg as a cyborg. I don't know if you can see this. Can you see?
This is kind of an memorial.
Yeah. No, I did this in 18.
Oh, okay.
But I think she's a cyborg, so I turned her into a cyborg.
Image and memory into an homage to her.
Yes, it's an homage to her. Well, iRobot was the topic for Burning Man that year. So basically, I decided to do an image of her because she is a cyborg.
Intelligent, very focused.
Can't stop her.
Unstoppable.
Unstoppable.
Hence the famous, notorious RBG.
Yes. Okay. I want you to have that, personally. That's yours.
I can't take gifts.
Damn you.
I can't. I can't.
You cannot?
I cannot. But I appreciate the thought.
No. I was going to give it to Tom because he is a hard-working guy.
I am.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
It's a personal gift. You really can't.
But I appreciate the thought.
Blue dot in the sea of red.
You will.
But I'll take this. I'll take this. The video of a gift being handed of a cyborg.
Here,
So
you can see it better because I backed it up with this.
Excellent.
So the image lives on. There we go. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Actually, I believe that she got it too. I was at a book signing with Sotomayor,
Oh wow.
and I gave her to her to give to Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She said she would hand it to her assistant to give
Wow.
to Ruth Bader Ginsburg's assistant. So it's possible she got it.
Okay, so essentially the legend may live on in more ways than one.
Yes.
Can I ask you guys a quick question here as these festivities start here? What does this moment mean to you guys tonight? Like, having, since you're obviously a devotee and care much about this.
I think that it's a memorial to say that this is one of the most extraordinary humans that ever lived in this country to help all of us. And that I think that the overall message is to get out there and fight for those you care about. And I believe that is something that she says.
Sure.
I think, yeah. So, fight. That's it.
The future for our grandchildren. I'm frightened for the future. Where are we at in this country? Look at how quickly we've evolved into a dictatorship. I mean, we're this close. This close.
So for you tonight, it's more. I mean, this is not just a moment of remembrance, but it's also there's some degree of sorrow.
Oh, there's huge sorrow, but there's also a call to action. I think if you really want to pay homage to her memory, you realize that action is what is required. That is what you would expect. That is. So, there you go. You see her all the time.
I do.
Yeah.
Everybody, I see.
You see the same faces, yes.
And so tonight is no different than any other day, it sounds like, in terms of getting out there and letting your voice be heard, it sounds like?
Yeah, probably one of the most important nights in the 3.5 years that we've been fighting for our rights, for our liberty, for women's rights, the right to control our own bodies, to make our own decisions for our futures.
So I guess we're about to start here. Thank you very much, guys. Denise, as always, thank you. And thanks for the gift. Thought of the gift. Good to see you again as well.
We'll see each other soon.
Absolutely. Sorry, guys.
I want to introduce to you Holly Wellborn of the ACLU, who's going to speak to us. This is lovely. I just found out this was happening, and I think it's a phenomenal turnout, considering that we just found out about it a couple hours ago. I'll try to be as loud as possible. So yes, my name is Holly. I'm with the ACLU of Nevada, and we are in mourning. This morning, our National Executive Director sent out an all-staff email to us, and he said, "We are so privileged to work in the house that Ruth built." And it took my breath away that I get to stand even remotely close to this position where Ruth Bader Ginsburg began her journey. Her famous quote from her first amicus brief that she argued in front of the United States Supreme Court was, "I ask not, all that I ask is my brethren to take their feet from off our necks." That was the beginning of the legacy of RBG, the notorious RBG. Woo! 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 I know that our hearts are weary. I know that we are afraid. I know that we don't know what the future holds for the United States Supreme Court. But I will. The ACLU began in the most trying, uncertain times of this nation in 1920. We have argued and won cases before the United States Supreme Court under some of the most conservative courts in our nation's history. And we will do it again. Woo! Ruth Ginsburg was that symbol of democracy, that symbol of hope that we all looked to, that we had that one extra vote. But Ruth knew about the power of people, the power of the collective. So together we can come together and fight against those who are trying to destroy democracy. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your song. I know, right? Thank you. This is for my daughter. She's 5.
So let's see here. I'm trying to think, is there a speaker? We're all kind of videotaping each other. And I guess I'm trying to figure out the central point of contact is. So I will go ahead and take this moment and I think I'm going to talk to Miss Wellborn, actually. So, Miss Wellborn, how are you, ma'am?
Good, how are you?
Can I bother you for a moment?
Sure.
So I guess I spoke to you a little while ago this evening. It's kind of great to speak to you tonight on such a, I guess, historic moment for a range of reasons. I'll try not to characterize it for obvious reasons. What do you think of this moment tonight?
I think that it's inspiring to see people come together. I'm finding a lot of comfort in people being together. It's no secret that Ruth Bader Ginsburg was important to the ACLU. She founded our Women's Rights Project, and she paved the road for many of the rights that we have today. Her jurisprudence stretched not only through the entire genesis of case law that we have for the protection of women's rights, but disability rights, LGBTQ. So we've lost a hero. We've lost a hero of our country and someone that everyone looked up to as a beacon of hope. But what we know is that we have the power of the people. And as we slowly climb up out of the despair of finding out that our hero has died, we will find the path forward to liberty, and that's what she would have wanted.
the obvious fact present is that we are 45 days plus from Election Day. Literally within, about that day, about 45 days plus from that day, about this hour, polls will close, and we will know the fate. What the nation will have decided. And from that, who knows, theoretically. Do you think that, what will the organization do in response to this moment in time to either galvanize political support for the election, or in the potential likelihood that the president does get a nominee to Senate Judiciary and onto the floor? What's the response?
The ACLU, our policy is that we do not intervene in judicial nominations to the Supreme Court, to the federal bench, unless it's in awesome circumstances. We did not comment on Gorsuch, but we did comment on Kavanaugh because there were credible allegations of sexual assault that were pressed against him. It takes, I think at this point, where we are at is we have to see what happens on Election Day. What we're shifting into is making sure that the right to vote is protected. Starting now, we're going to launch a very aggressive election protection program. If you've seen in Virginia and in different states that have started early voting, the lines are incredibly long. We've seen in some states that we've had groups of people that have blocked the entrance to voting sites. That's clear voter intimidation, and that is something that we will monitor and that we will crack down on and file lawsuits on in the event that there's any voter intimidation in the state of Nevada. Loud car.
Okay. Are you okay, all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Any voter intimidation.
Sorry. Loud car's getting a little bit now.
Okay?
Yeah.
We will have an aggressive election protection program, and we will crack down on any voter intimidation that looks anything like what we've seen in the last couple of days in states that have started early voting. So we encourage people to call 866-OUR-VOTE, VOTE, if they're having any issues accessing the polls, accessing their vote by mail ballot, understanding where their polling locations are. We're going to have a team of lawyers out in the field fighting back and protecting democracy.
Okay. And along the same lines, here in Nevada, you kind of spoke to the legacy and the story of Justice Ginsburg in advancing several policy areas. How does this moment impact us a little more directly at length?
I think there are several ways this impacts us. The makeup of the court is very important, but I had mentioned earlier that the ACLU in particular and other civil rights organizations, we have filed lawsuits and we have won in some of the most conservative courts in our nation's history. So we believe in the rule of law, we believe in the protections of the Constitution, and we believe that we are on the right side of those arguments, and that we have the smartest attorneys in the country working for us, working for our partners in other groups, who are going to fight to guard the Constitution and protect individual liberty. So while we can despair, we have those concerns, we will most certainly lose rights and have to challenge those rights, but then we have to think about the way that government plays into that. So as long as we're here and we're standing, which we have been, I believe we are resilient. I think the road ahead, it's scary, but we're going to be okay.
Fair. I thank you for your brief moment of time and giving folks here in Nevada and Reno specifically, an understanding of what this moment means from your position, especially because of the significance ACLU played in the women's rights movement, Ms. Ginsburg's career, and in civil liberties across the country. So, Holly, it's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you.
And again, my condolences to you at this hour, and stay safe.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, Don, that was really nice. Thank you.
You're welcome. And just let you know we're live. Yes. So, just let you know. And that's since my audio interview with Holly Wellborn, the ACLU policy director. And I'm still live. I'm just going to cut off my recording here. Hi.
Molly.
Molly, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Good. And I noticed these folks in robes here.
Yeah, you know Haley.
Yes.
Remember when I was pregnant with this one?
Yes. Oh. Now all of a sudden. So I have to ask you because your mom has been in the government once. I remember a while back, and you understand the mechanics of the business, so to speak. And I noticed you guys are dressed in robes. Why the robes?
We're trying to look like Ruth Bader Ginsburg to honor her memory.
Fair.
She's someone to aspire to.
Fair. I know I'm kind of asking everybody individually, what this means to them, how this impacts them, and whatnot, because for different people, this has different meanings and different understandings. And I referenced, we served in student government a while back, and you in a legislative body, and you understand the importance of why laws and how laws are passed in that setting. Do you see this moment being a pivotal moment in American history because of that?
I see it as scorched earth politics. I think there's no place for that when you're trying to restore trust and bipartisanship. I think if you're going to say, one party won't work with the other, and you flip-flop and you say, this is how we should do things, and then you don't honor it later, that's scorched earth politics. What's to stop, the next president from adding new seats to the Supreme Court justice if this is how we're going to play it? And when does it end? Where does it stop? We need to stand up for what's right, and we need to stand up for the minority caucus on the, not caucus, but minorities on the bench. We have more liberal lawyers and justices.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
And liberal justices. I don't think it's fair to steal their seats 2 times in a row. It's going to be a supermajority basically on Supreme Court. I don't think that's
6-3.
fair. Yeah, and for decades to come. And the liberal justices that remain are pretty old.
That's true. They tend to hold the older end of the arc at this point in time. I hate to use your daughter as a prop for this one because you mentioned your daughter's age. Being young as you are, and in your time you've seen on this earth, you've seen a lot, and not even what I've seen in my lifetime. What does this moment mean for you at this young age?
I know it'll be a life-changing moment for everybody in history. I really just kind of mixed feelings.
I'm going to apologize because I can faintly hear you. I apologize. Can I ask you to speak up just a little bit?
I don't really have an opinion on what's happening right now because I don't really know what's going on, and I know it'll be a life-changing moment for everybody.
It's cool to be a part of history, though.
Huh?
Yeah. Is it important to stand up for women's rights?
Women should be equal.
You gonna speak up?
Women should be treated equally and probably even better.
Why better? I would settle for equality personally. Let's go for more.
Mother-daughter talk. I love this. I love the engagement.
Yeah, you're putting her on the spot, Don.
I apologize. That's what I do. That's what I do. That's what I do.
They were also the mother-daughter duo that made that sign.
Yeah.
Right. Dedicated to this endeavor.
This is her first time going to a political vigil or protest, so
Welcome.
I just wanted to include her in the process. And this one, I knew it would be one where there wouldn't be counter-protesters. It felt safe. It wouldn't be intimidating. I wanted to give her a positive first experience and have it be something that matters to her, which is women's rights.
So, what do you think so far? So,
I'm gonna miss
sorry.
I don't really know how to talk about that. I don't know
It's all right. You don't have to be interested.
You don't.
I don't know what's happening.
It's okay. It's okay. So I didn't mean to scare her.
That's all right. It's her first experience. She doesn't know what to expect right now,
Right.
She's just,
Right. She's learning.
Yeah.
She's learning. So, but I will ask you for another question since you do know quite a bit, and I know you do. So, You mentioned the majority, the potential of the majority swinging further to the right. And within hours of Ginsburg's death, Senator McConnell announced in a press release, at the bottom of the press release, that he would, quote, if President Trump's nominee will receive a vote on the Senate floor. When you read that and heard that, what was your first feeling and instinct?
You know, it shows his true colors. It shows that he's not a man of his word. And I hope that he gets voted out. And I hope that at least 4 senators stand up for what is right and ethical and choose to let voters who have already started voting have a say in who gets to be our next Supreme Court justice.
Along that same line, tonight, about 4 or 5 hours ago, Senator Susan Collins from Maine announced, or at least made a statement, written, publicized in most national outlets, that she would like to see the next president pick, which turns the vote from 53 to 52 potential voters for a Senate seat, with, like I said, 45 days to the election and 100 odd some days left to the Senate's reconfirmation, or a new Senate coming in the session. Does that make you feel any better, or?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's somebody that you want to work with, and somebody holds themselves to their word. It makes it easier to establish bipartisan trust and work together in the future. And maybe Democrats, should they be in power during the next term, they can remember that and say, yes, this is somebody who I'm not just going to automatically dismiss. I'm going to work with that person. And maybe Republicans should be a little more concerned about that, other than just getting reelected.
Fair. So Susan Collins off the map. She's up for re-election, and she's down by 5 points right now to Sarah Gideon in Maine. So those are 2 considerations I was taking into consideration. You said, you're right, it's going to be 4. You need 4 more senators. Potentially, Tillis is a maybe, but not, I would say. You've got, Cory Gardner in Colorado, and Joni Ernst, who sits on the Judiciary Committee, as a potential maybe. You see that, if you saw more of what Susan Collins said tonight from those following senators, what would that mean to you?
Well, they're not running in my district, so it's hard to say. I'm not familiar with their policies, and whether, if I lived in that district, that might swing my vote from blue to red. But it would certainly make me more okay with them winning if the blue team lost. The Democrats lost that seat and they still held their seat. At least I would know that they were more ethical choices than some of their fellow colleagues on the Senate.
Fair. This is why I love talking to you. You know your details. You understand this a lot, and I appreciate you being willing to subject yourself to my line of questioning on this, because you're not afraid to speak your mind and to talk. So thank you so very much.
You're very welcome.
And just to remind my audience, who am I speaking to again?
My name's Amy Anderson-Fulmer.
Miss Fulmer, Miss Anderson-Fulmer. I always do this. I always screw up your last name, Anderton Fulmer. Sorry.
Anderton Fulmer. Yeah.
Fulmer. I always screw up your last name, so I apologize for that. Thank you for enduring me again, as always. And again, thanks for introducing me to your daughter. And I hope you're doing well, by the way, overall.
All right.
Yes.
Gotta go.
Good to see you again. So I guess this is the event here, as everyone's still kind of in collection here at the courthouse. And sorry. And I'm going to move a little forward. I want to ask you about your sign here. So, what's the story behind the sign?
So the story behind the sign is that Harvey Jean just made her last fervent wish, known to her granddaughter and then the rest of the world. And she dedicated her life to making opportunities for all of us. Anyone who has a mother, a wife, a daughter, a sister, an aunt, they have a better life because of RBG. She's done so much for us. So I feel like the very least we can do as a society is honor her last service.
And that's in reference to not selecting a nominee in this current administration and let the election play out, and then not just that, but pass let the next session of Congress kind of go through.
Right. So my understanding was that she would like for her seat not to be filled until the election has taken place. And I think that is her trusting the people. The people are going to speak, and we're a part of this democracy also. And the people are going to say what they're going to say in November. The average placement for a Supreme Court justice is 70 days, and we only have 45. We can wait.
Okay. Now, I don't mean to incense you by asking you this, because naturally, these are the times we are in. Hours ago, well, you could say hours ago, Senator, Majority Leader Mitch McConnell stated at the end of a press release, President Trump's nominee will receive a vote on the Senate floor, end quote. And that being said, the president last week in Minden announced that he had a list and challenged Joe Biden, but tonight Joe Biden's response was, I'm not going to issue a list. And that list includes 20 people, including one Nevadan, former Solicitor General Bruce Van Dyke, or not Bruce, it's another Van Dyke I'm thinking of. Lawrence Van Dyke was on that list. With your thoughts in mind, with the list out there, with all the things that the Senate and the House and Congress has to do, how would you feel, or what would your thoughts be if your sentiments were not respected? And what would you do in response?
I think that right now I'm living my life one day at a time, one breath at a time, because there's so much going on. And really all I'm asking is that this American hero be heard. And I'm here to support her because she supported all of us. So the hypothetical is really hard to deal with if we're not going to be heard, and I just have to have faith and hope that he will be heard and that she will be heard, and we will honor her.
And I apologize with all the hypotheticals. I always kind of like to hear it straight from those who care most, because I kind of understand level of where people are, and so I that helps me understand that. I, like you and many other people in this country, it is a bit overwhelming, it sounds like.
Sorry, it's really awesome. The car behind us, I couldn't hear what you said. There's that. I'm going to admit my scroll moment. Back to my point. I sense a bit of overwhelming, like this is a bit overwhelming as a lot for a lot of people. I mean, we've had a lot happen in the last 9 months. Yes.
So I sense a bit of that, this is a bit overwhelming.
Absolutely. The current state of everything is, it's a lot for anybody and everybody, I have, my parents are in their 70s. My children are school age, and I am a female who is holding down a career, Fortunately, I have a supportive husband, but when it comes down to it, I'm still a woman in the workplace, and it's not equal yet. I know, right? And so there's just one more layer there in a year that was already really intense for everybody and all of us.
You just went down a nice list, an appropriate list addressing a lot of the moments in time, and I appreciate you doing that for me. Thank you, because that helps the people watching this at home, not who are watching and wondering what's going on, what this means, and what that sign means. And so I appreciate you enduring me, because I can be a pain in the butt when I ask these questions. And what's your name, ma'am?
Thank you. My name is Audrey.
Audrey? Right. Thank you, Audrey. And again, I'm awful with names, so I apologize if I butchered it on the response.
No, not at all. Nice to meet you. Thank you for doing your job.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for enduring my questions. Yes, well, we're live streaming right now, actually. Yes. Yes, so we're I'm a man on the street on the scene, so that's what we're doing. So doing it so you don't have to do it. You don't have to come down tonight.
Nice. Yet here we are.
Yes. Well, hey, the battles are won by those who show up, or those who go out and go fight for it.
Thank you for showing up.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Because you can't you can't do remote reporting all the time. Some of the time you can, not all the time. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome, guys. So I think the crowd's thinned out a bit, yeah, this is kind of now a smaller contingent. I guess they've wrapped up. Actually, let me go and take a look at this guy here. Talk for the things you care about, but do it in a way that leads others to join you. And they wrap up the sign. Hey, Jerry. And can I ask you, sir, what's this sign about?
So it's essentially, from what I gather, it's essentially saying fight for things you care about and do it in a way that will actually not get people angry at you, but get them to come with you and join you.
Right.
That's how I look at it.
And so what made you choose that quote? Like, what spoke to you about it?
Because essentially, given with how everything is going, with our world right now, I just thought it would be a good reminder to show people that we do need to come together, and we should do it in a respectful way. Like, we want to make the world a better place, not a worse one.
Sounds fair. Well, I want to say thank you for standing out here and answering my questions on this, as I am reading everyone's signs and trying to ascribe meaning to them. I do want to ask you this one. It's a hypothetical about, the present times we're in, about, the nomination fight we might be seeing, but also, I guess, about the election. And I know you're fairly active in the public square in our community.
Yeah.
Does yesterday, the death of RBG, motivate you to go work harder out in the campaign field, or are you already there?
Yeah, definitely. Cause I really want to make sure that we don't end up worse for wear because of RBG's unfortunate death yesterday. So I'm going to do my best to make sure I get out there that much more to show not only Reno, but show everyone around the country that we need someone in that Supreme Court seat that will actually listen to the people.
Okay. Well, and your name again, sir? Bill. Bill, thank you very much for letting me ask you during my questions, sir.
All right.
And you have a go, and I'll see you the next event.
Oh yeah, of course.
All right, so here we are. I think it's thinned out just a little bit here. I think everyone's kind of called it. Looks like. So I'm going to kind of do a quick survey of the battlefield here. Just to explain where we are. We're at the Bruce Thompson Courthouse in downtown Reno. Again, not a lot going on now. It was a lot more people here. Kind of a makeshift sign here. And kind of general survey here. So the crowd's a little smaller now. So yeah, that's this is our event here, I guess. So this is the event here. So guess there are ladies holding a sign here. So just to put the squares up here, you're walking down Main Street. You're driving down the street. This is what you see here. Now it's kind of the gathering has gotten smaller, as you can tell. Come on, Val. Hey guys. Hey guys. Hey guys. Good to see you too, guys.
I'm so sorry you couldn't have that. I wanted to give it to you.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Just a piece of pizza. That's all you can take from me, right? Okay. See you later. Bye.
Take care, guys. I guess thank you for the thought, though. Thank you. That was a good intro. That helped. That was a good intro. Thank you. That helped out a lot.
So what? You saying it was live or something?
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, so somebody might have seen it.
Well, someone did see it.
Okay, that's good. All right. See you later.
You guys take care.
See you soon.
Absolutely. 45 plus days left. Oh, sorry. Sorry. So, I guess I was looking for Wendy. I guess she just left, actually, because she was looking really good to ask about this tonight. All right. Well, I'll find her in a bit. I have Trevor here. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna. Do you think? I'm trying to think. Should I? How much longer should I continue? Because I'm thinking. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna follow lead in about 5. What's up? You guys. I'm gonna upload. This is gonna. When I shut this off, I'll pull the hard data, throw this on YouTube, and then hand it to the Bob. Cool. And then I'll send you a copy of the draft I have, so you kind of know what I'm looking at.
I'll read the story.
All right. Thanks for the shots. All right. So I'm gonna hang out for a little bit. So, let's do this. I'm going to take us across the street shot. Again, I apologize for the bobbing up and down because I'm not on a tripod. So, this is kind of how the scene lasts, I guess. Some sort of scenic shots here. Alright, so I think we've asked on the signs, asked a couple of folks on that. So if anyone has any questions for me here, I guess let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and wrap it up here. Oh, sorry. I'm going to go ahead and wrap the shot here, guys. So that all being said, folks, let's call it a night. Thanks for watching. From downtown Reno, this is Don.